Alvarez knocked out Amir Khan in the 6th round on Saturday night to successfully defend his middleweight title. Sitting ringside was unified title holder GENNADY Golovkin, who looms as Alvarez's mandatory challenger. Now, immediately after the fight, Triple G took to Twitter and indicated to Alvarez that he's ready. Alvarez and Golovkin are supposed to fight in the fall based on a deal they made with the WBC. Stephen A., what should Canelo do now?
Well, first of all, the big fight that's out there is Triple G, and let me give Canelo Alvarez props. I mean, it was one punch and it was over. He put him to sleep. The Canelo walked over, got on his knees to look, make sure the dude was all right. And folks standing over Amir Khan, waving the towel to give him some air or whatever. It was a KO in every sense of the word. That kind of knockout power is something to behold. There's no doubt about that. And then to call Triple G into the ring after and to basically talk about we don't mess around. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And in Mexico we come to fight. We don't worry about titles or whatever. We come to fight. I got a lot of respect from Canelo Alvarez for taking that stance, for taking that position. I hope that Oscar De La Hoya was true to his tweet when he told Triple G to make sure to answer his phone the following morning. I got to check my man Dan Rayfield to find out if Oscar De La Hoya indeed picked up the phone to call Triple G to try to make this match, because that's the epic matchup right there. I don't know how advisable it will be for Canelo to have Triple G as his next opponent, because I still wouldn't pick him to beat Triple G as awesome as Canelo was, but I knew Amir Khan had a glass jaw, so it was what it was. But I would tell you this. The fight that he should have next is against Triple G. But I also want to point out, Skip Bayles, that if indeed it were to be a rematch against Floyd Money Mayweather, I still believe it would be a bigger fight than Floyd Money Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that that Canelo should fight Floyd ahead of Triple G. I'm saying that for those who want to look at Mayweather, and we'll touch on Mayweather a little bit later, I think that Pacquiao should not be the focus that everybody wants for Floyd Money Mayweather having a rematch. I think it should be Canelo Alvarez. That would be me. But if you're Canelo Alvarez, in terms of who you should fight next, it should be Triple G. And that would make for an epic fight, because Canelo, as great as he is, still has trouble with speed and guys who are defensive wizards like Floyd Money Mayweather. That's only lost in his career. Amir Khan, like I told everybody before the fight, is no Floyd Money Mayweather. He can box, he's got speed, but he doesn't have the boxing skills, particularly defensively, that Floyd Money Mayweather has. And that's why he got caught in the 6th round, because he doesn't have that kind of ability. And he walked into the ring against a bigger man that just in the end overwhelmed him. I say Canelo, Triple G. That is a mega fight for the ages, Skip Bayles. That's the one that should be next to Canelo.
I agree with every point you made except your conclusion, your takeaway, that it has to be Triple G, mega fight next. I'm not seeing it. Now I'm going to go back through your points. I'm going to hark back to what you said to open the show. You didn't give the Cavs much credit because it was the Pistons and the Hawks they were playing against. So I'm not going to give similar credit to Canelo, because you slipped in the fact, to me, Amir Khan has always had a glass jaw. He can box a little bit. He's got a little shake and bake to him. We know all that. But when it was time, when he got caught, he dropped like a pile of rocks, and he was gone, man, because we've seen this happen. Danny Garcia dropped him. It was a technical knockout, but some dude named Prescott knocked him out earlier in his career.
Okay, 2008.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So now we're back to you already went on record. You said, man, you wouldn't give Canelo much of a shot against Triple G. I would not either. So if you're managing Canelo right now, and he is your cash cow, and you've got it set up where you can have a couple of fights before the mega fight to keep your cash cow upright and keep him hot, keep the interest soaring about Canelo, why would you just jump right into a fight with a guy that you're pretty sure he can't beat in Triple G? I wouldn't. You've still got Keith Thurman. You've got Garcia, I just mentioned. You've got Kell. Brooke, you know, you got these guys are out there with great records. Why wouldn't you go ahead and do a couple of those fights? Why wouldn't you take them now? Just make them catch weight payday fights for Canelo.
Let me chime in here, Skip, because Canelo is a bigger and stronger guy. He's not a welterweight. He's literally a middleweight. He fights at the catch weight of 155.
Yep.
But one of the reasons why Triple G, who came on my radio show on Mad Dog Sports Radio a few months ago, literally sat next to me and talked about the catch weight that he would do for Floyd, but insisted he wouldn't do it for Canelo.
Right.
I asked why. He said Floyd is a naturally smaller guy, so I understand why he wouldn't fight at middleweight. Canelo is a middleweight trying to walk around like he's less than a middleweight.
Yep.
And he says I'm not gonna go for that. Okay, so that's his point. You also got to take into account style, Skip. Triple G ain't running. Triple G doesn't believe he's the smaller guy that could barely hurt Canelo like Amir Khan thought, so I've got to beat him with my speed and boxing ability and pray that I don't get caught. Triple G is the dude that will be coming at Canelo. And Canelo, to his credit, because even though I wouldn't say I don't give him a chance, I just would favor Triple G. I would pick Triple G. But Canelo has power, he can box, and I've seen him take a punch, and he's got heart. So all of those requisite skills necessary make for a mega fight. I don't believe that anybody in the welterweight division that you mentioned outside of Floyd can beat Canelo, because they're looking to come at Canelo to hurt Canelo. Whereas Floyd is looking to box him and move and make him miss. These dudes are going to come trying to hurt Canelo, and I don't think they'll be able to do it as much as he'll be able to hurt them. The smaller guys, the Keith Thurmans of the world, the Kell Brooks of the world, the Errol Spencers of the world. Errol Spencer's special, by the way. But all of these guys, they're relatively smaller, which is why Amir Khan talked about moving back down to his natural weight of 147. As an aside, I don't know what the hell was going on with Virgil Hill and that trainer of his calling Canelo out to fight Triple G. I'm like, what personal interest? I applauded Max Kellerman for asking that question. What business is it of yours, essentially? Why is it so important to you that Canelo fight Triple G? I don't understand that stuff. But in the end, what it comes down to is that because of Triple G's style and Canelo's style, you're going to get a fight. It's not going to be a boxing. You're going to get a fight. And I think that that's beautiful, and I applaud both of them if it ends up happening. Because, Skip, it doesn't hurt Canelo if he loses to Triple G. It doesn't hurt him at all. Because remember, Triple G, he's fighting at 155 catch weight. He's fought at 147 before. The 160-pound title, if you lose to Triple G, well, then you just ain't the middleweight champion anymore.
Yeah.
But the junior middleweight and the super welterweight, you still reign supreme over there. And I think that that's why it doesn't hurt Canelo as much as people think.
Okay, but Canelo has been notorious for getting just barely down to that catch weight 155 and then hydrating back up on fight night to 170, right? I mean, he's a big kid already, and when he rehydrates, weight-wise, he can hold his own with Triple G. Fight-wise, I don't think he can. So if he loses to Triple G, and he already lost to Floyd, I just think he would lose a lot of luster pretty early in his career. So I'm not sure that they'd be ready to do that. And if you do Floyd again, I would call it, I would make the theme of the fight back to school for Canelo, because he just go, Floyd would school him again.
He says Floyd would school him again. Yeah. He's too slow. He's too slow for Floyd.
Yeah.
He wouldn't catch Floyd that way. That's true. But I would tell you this. And a lot of it depends. You could be right, Skip, if he were to walk in the ring and get slaughtered by Triple G.
Yep.
Get slaughtered. Like he slaughtered James, like Canelo slaughtered James Kirkland, for example.
I got it.
Okay? If he did something like that to Canelo, then you would have a point. But what if he walked up in that ring and it was a hell of a fight, but he loses? Whether it's TKO, KO, or decision, but it was a hell of a fight, and then he just gets caught. I don't know if his luster diminishes that way, because you've got plenty of guys. I mean, look, man, you think about some of the great fighters you know, in Latino history.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I mean, there are very few guys that are undefeated. It's not about whether you win or lose all the time. It's about how you go down. And if you go down like a warrior, I don't think you lose luster when you lose to an elite guy like a Triple G. Not to mention the fact that some people think that Triple G hasn't really fought anybody.
Yep.
So they're like, you sleeping on Canelo because Canelo has been in the ring with better competition than Triple G. I just think Triple G is going to be too strong, but that's me.
No.